Hello Stampers, Kelly Acheson at stampabove.com coming to you from Menasha, Wisconsin. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Today for the Creative Inking Blog Hop, I have a great technique to share with you. It's called color block stamping. I made some beautiful autumn cards for our Autumn Vibes theme today. Now when we get done with the video, I want you to head over to my blog so you can see what everybody else made with an autumn theme. Let's flip the camera around and I'll show you how to do some block stamping. Well, I'm doing it again. Once again, I'm using the Gathered Together and the Gathered Leaves dies. This is such a fantastic suite of products. I absolutely love it. And of course, if we have an Autumn Vibes theme, this is my go-to autumn set. If you haven't gotten your hands on this yet, you need to get it. I have made so many cards with this bundle. You will have a whole bunch of different ideas just from me, and there's a lot of other ideas out there. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to earn your business. Feel free to place an order right here on my blog, and this is my monthly host code. When you use that code, it gives you some special perks with me. And you can always find that in the right-hand column on my blog. So I said I was going to share with you some block stamping. I'm going to bring in my cardstock layers here. I have a card base of Blackberry Bliss. This is 4 1/4 by 11. I've scored it at 5 1/2, and we're just going to fold and burnish that edge good. Then I have a piece of Berry Vanilla that's 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. A layer of crushed curry that is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. A piece of our copper foil, which I love using with my fall cards. This is a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4. I've also got a Very Vanilla layer for the inside that's 4 by 5 1/4. And just to let you know, you will always find all of these dimensions on my blog with this project. So my blog address is right here. Then I've got scraps. Gold foil, old olive, and Very Vanilla, and Blackberry Bliss, and then a Very Vanilla envelope. We're going to stamp up the inside of our card first. This is the quick and easy part. Not that the other part is hard, but this goes a lot quicker. And I just decided that I would like to have one of these maple leaves on the inside of my card. Let's see, where am I going to put this? I think I'm going to do it right over here. Then I'm going to get my chamois out so I can clean my stamp off. I'm going to take this blackberry scrap and we're going to do a little bit of embossing. Like I said, I love to use copper with my fall cards. I just think it's really rich looking. I've got a Versamark ink pad here, and I just used the embossing buddy to make sure that my powder will only stick where I put the ink. That's what that little guy is good for. I've got my copper embossing powder. I always tell you guys, close up those ink pads before you bring out the embossing powder, because if you've ever gotten embossing powder in your ink pads, you know that it's quite a disaster. You really can't get it out. It's just a mess. Put this away and bring out my ancient heat tool. I keep saying that my other heat tool is packed up for classes, and it is. I love to watch the magic happen when you're using embossing powder. Once your powder turns shiny, you're done embossing, but you want to make sure that none of it looks dull. Now, there's a die for this maple leaf. In the Gathered Leaves die, I'm going to die cut this, but I've got a few other things to die cut too. I'm going to use this image that embosses and die cuts at the same time on the copper foil. I'm going to use one of my rectangle stitched framelits, and I want to explain to you which ones I'm using here. So on the card that I'm going to show you, I'm using this one, which I call the odd man out. The rest of these I have lettered. This is A, B, C, and D. And then these are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that helps me tell you what sizes. So we've got the smaller portion over here, the bigger ones over here, and the odd man out. I'm going to use the odd man out for my old olive layer. And then, let's see, I'm going to use C. Whoops. This is from small to large, so A, B, C, and D. I'm going to use B on my vanilla scrap. So I'm going to have both of those. Oh, and one more thing. We're also using the hammered embossing folder. This is called Hammered Metal. This is a gorgeous embossing folder. Unfortunately, it is on back order because it was so popular. This will be available again on September 30th. So I just wanted to let you know that. And if you've seen my previous videos, you know that you're going to have to use the blue embossing plate with your bottom platform. So we're going to put this layer in here, and then we're going to put the blue plate on top of it, and then our platform, and run it through your die cutting machine. I'm going to do all this and I'll be right back. This embossing folder gives you a very unique look when you put it in this way or this way. So I've got another card made that I'll show you after we're done stamping here, using the folder the other way on the foil paper. But isn't that cool? I love this. Kind of reminds me of snake skin or alligator skin. I see a lot of really great ideas with this, but it's a really cool pattern for your fall cards too. All right, now that we have all of our die cutting done, we've got a little bit of stamping to do. And I'm going to use my Blackberry Bliss ink with the Wishing You Well sentiment from the stamp set. And then crushed curry and the wheat. And I'm just going to stamp off once with that, and then just add it as a really neat background look. I just think that's really cool when you stamp some images with your words, but you have to make sure that your ink color is light enough for you to do that. That's why I stamped off one time. So we're just going to set, well, let's get this put together. I was going to say we're going to set these aside. I'm just going to take this. Okay, that's what I thought. So I actually cut this in half. I didn't remember that I did that. Isn't that terrible? I just made this card a few minutes ago. So cut this in half. Mine isn't cut in half, but it's going to be okay because we're going to piece it together like this. I needed this to be just a little bit wider. And I forgot about that before I put my glue on. That way we have just a bigger square here. This is what it looks like on the back. Nobody's going to see that, so it doesn't matter, right? Here comes my dimensionals. I'm almost run through a whole sheet again. We're going to add some dimensionals to the back of this, and we'll have that ready to roll. Here comes our technique. This is called color block stamping, and it's very interesting. You can do a lot of really neat things with it. I've got my blocks here. Now I've got a C block, an H block, and a B block. I'm going to take this long block and I'm going to ink it up right in my ink pad, just like that. Then I'm going to take a stamping spritzer. You want to make sure you have a very fine mist. We sell these. There's 2 in a package for like, I don't know, $3 or $4, but they give you that really fine mist that you need. And you're going to hold your spritzer back. Let me get this out of the way. Hold your spritzer back and just spritz it 2 or 3 times. I'm going to bring this right over here and stamp it. And you can see the paper soak up that ink as long as you leave it here. So you don't want to stamp it and pull it up right away. You want to leave it down. And look at how neat that looks. Isn't that cool? All right, so that was crushed curry. Now I'm going to bring in I'm going to need Old Olive here too. I'm going to bring in my C block in the Blackberry Bliss. You want to make sure that you get that covered well. I'm going to move this out of the way so I could show you my spritzing. It just kind of evens the ink out on your layer. I'm going to take this one and stamp it right over here. And again, leave it pushed into the paper. You could see the paper absorbing that ink. And isn't that cool? It's a very neat look. And then the smallest block we're going to use in the Old Olive ink. And again, I'm going to spritz it. There we go. And I'm going to pull this one right over here. And you can see that ink soaking into your paper again. There we go. This is called color block stamping, and it's really kind of a retro look. I'm not usually into retro looks, but I love fall colors, and I love the way that these turned out. I've got actually, I'm going to have 3 cards to show you using this technique. I'm going to get this closed up. I also wanted to stamp my envelope, so we're going to do that right away before I put the other ink away. I'm just taking that piece of paper that I used for my embossing powder to mask my vanilla envelope. Did you guys know that we have Whisper White envelopes and vanilla envelopes? So I like having the matching envelopes, which is really just kind of completes your look. I'm just going to randomly stamp this maple leaf all over. There we go. Look how pretty that is. Who isn't going to love to get that in their mailbox? Okay, we're done stamping. And now we're going to bring in all these little elements and put our card together. So here's my crushed curry card base. I'm going to add my vanilla layer. Now this may take a little bit of drying time because that's a lot of water that's soaking into your cardstock. So if you have to set it aside and let it dry for a little bit, just be aware that you may have to do that. Mine is a little damp yet. Then I'm going to take, this is my, I want to make sure I don't put it on backwards. Here is my card base. I'm going to add this piece right up here. This is just going to be an accent. Boy, I think I got my card pretty crooked when I folded it. Yep, I did. If you ever do that, just push it, hold it firm, and whoops, do your bone folder again. I just smeared glue all over, but that's okay because it's gonna pretty much get covered up. We'll be all right with that. And then, where'd my dimensionals go? Here come my dimensionals. I'm kind of dropping a lot of things tonight. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to add this. I'm actually going to put this closer to the bottom of my card so you can see a little bit more of that embossed layer up there. Then here comes our sentiment. And again, these geometric patterns are just kind of neat, aren't they? I usually am not, I don't often make cards like this, but I have to tell you guys that I started making these color block technique backgrounds and I just kept going and couldn't stop myself. So I have a few others to show you. I use the same color combination and I just kind of moved them around a little bit, but you could certainly do this with any color combination. Isn't this leaf beautiful? I love these copper leaves, and I'm just going to have that tucked right down in here. And one more thing, I thought that these designer elements would be a great embellishment to use on this card. We have the copper ones, and I thought that would match really nice. I think maybe, how about one right there? Kind of neat. Kind of ties in the whole thing, don't you think? I'm going to get this open. Oh, we have to put our inside in our card. Sorry, I got distracted. There's our inside. Oh my gosh, I'm going to see my mother-in-law for lunch, and I think one of these cards I'm going to give to her. I'll show you which one I plan on giving to her, but is that not really pretty? I don't know. I really like it. Color block stamping, very cool. The sky's the limit with all of your ink colors and also your block sizes. Yeah. Okay, let me show you the other cards. I've also got this one, and I stamped the wheat image with crushed curry in the background on the crushed curry block. Again, I used the same technique by stamping off once and stamping that wheat on here. These are the stitched rectangle framelits and the maple leaf. Now, I didn't put an embellishment on these, but I think I need to do that. And I think I'm going to do it right there. What do you think? Pretty cool, right? These are very low profile, these designer elements. So if I were to mail this, I would put a piece of scrap cardstock over the top and slide it right into my envelope. You're not going to have any problems. And then here's the third one that I made. This is the one I'm going to give to my mother-in-law. It says, "So glad to have you in my life." And I am. She's a wonderful lady. I'm very, very blessed to have a great mother-in-law, because I know a lot of people don't have great mother-in-laws. And she's so great, I'm going to give her a couple of these little embellishments. How's that? That's pretty cool, right? Yeah, so there's my color blocking technique and my block stamping, which I thought was pretty cool. Got a card ready to roll for my mother-in-law, and I am happy to have her in my life. Now, don't forget, if you'd like to order any of these supplies, you can head right on over to my blog. You're going to find an online ordering button in the right-hand column. If your order's under $150, you want to use this host code. If it's over $150, please don't use the host code. You're going to get some rewards from Stampin' Up, and I definitely want you to have those. Click right up here. That's going to take you over to my blog, where you can join in on the blog hop. The Creative Inking Design team, I'm sure, has some gorgeous projects to share with an autumn vibe. Don't forget to click down here to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You don't want to miss anything I have coming out. And if you're new to this whole stamping thing and you would like to get your hands on this gorgeous holiday catalog, it's got tons of great ideas and fabulous products in it. Just pop me an email right here at kelly@astampabove.com, and I would be happy to mail out the catalogs. Let me know if you need the big annual catalog and the holiday catalog, or just the holiday catalog. And also, don't forget to put your address in there. You guys have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.